Nothing that's happening in Baltimore right now came out of nowhere. The disappointing record, Lamar playing far from his best, strange decisions around rest and injuries, rumors growing outside the locker room, and even questions about the future of the coaching staff. When you put all those pieces together, it becomes clear there's something bigger going on behind this Ravens season. And that's exactly what changes everything. This isn't just a rough stretch or a bad moment that will pass. This feels like a turning point that could define what comes next. Stick around until the end, because once you connect all these dots, you start to understand why the season could end in a very different way than anyone expected. The Ravens started the 2025 season with that "this is our year" feeling. The roster looked strong, the messaging was confident, and Super Bowl talk was on the table from day one. But the NFL doesn't forgive expectations that don't turn into results, and a 6-7 record hits hard when you remember what this team believed it could be. The Thanksgiving loss was the moment everything got louder. Up until then, there was still a way to sell the idea of a turnaround, that the team was finding its rhythm. After that game, it felt like something snapped. It wasn't just a loss itself, it was how they played, out of control, with no clear answers. When a team falls apart like that, the conversation automatically shifts. It's no longer just about scheme, play calls, or technical details. People start wondering if the issue goes beyond the field, if the environment is still the same, if everyone is truly on the same page, or just trying to put out fires. And in a moment full of pressure and doubt like this, the spotlight always turns to the person who impacts the game the most, because when a team isn't moving forward, the next step is always to look at the quarterback and figure out what's really going on there. When a team starts to struggle, all eyes go straight to the quarterback. And with Lamar Jackson, that focus is even stronger. Over the last 2 weeks, the numbers are alarming. Just 1 touchdown pass and 2 interceptions. For a former MVP who carries the offense on his shoulders, that feels off and deeply concerning. This goes beyond raw stats. On the field, the Ravens' offense has lost rhythm, lost flow, and looks stuck in key moments. Plays that once felt easy now end in mistakes, rushed decisions, or missed chances, and that completely changes how games play out. When Lamar isn't at his best, the entire offense feels it. Defenses get more aggressive, the playbook shrinks, and there's no margin for error. The pressure builds on every snap, and the team starts needing perfect execution just to survive, something that's almost impossible to maintain in the NFL. But before jumping conclusions about a technical or mental decline, there's one factor that can't be ignored, because it explains a lot and opens the door to even more questions. Lamar's physical situation throughout this season. Lamar Jackson hasn't been healthy all year, and that's been clear week after week. Hamstring issues and toe problems aren't minor details for a quarterback who relies so heavily on mobility, explosiveness, and trust in his own body. When those limitations stack up, they affect decision-making, reaction time, and even how the offense is run. Within that context, the announcement of a rest day felt out of place. The Ravens are under pressure, trying to stay alive in the season, and it's not normal to rest the most important player on the team in a moment like this. The decision stood out even more because it wasn't followed by a clear explanation that put the issue to rest. When the team doesn't fully clarify the situation, the focus shifts away from just the injury. Questions start popping up about how hurt Lamar really is, whether he's playing through pain, or if something beyond the injury is affecting his availability and involvement day to day. That kind of silence creates a dangerous gap. Without firm answers, every internal decision starts to look like a sign of a bigger problem, opening the door to speculation that quickly moves past medical concerns and into questions of trust, commitment, and relationships, exactly where rumors start to gain real traction.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
That's when Nick Wright's comments blew things wide open. On Bill Simmons' podcast, he didn't just talk about bad numbers or misplays. He brought up something far more sensitive, whether Lamar Jackson still has a normal relationship with John Harbaugh. The moment someone publicly asks if a quarterback and head coach even talk to each other, The conversation changes instantly. Wright pointed out that this wouldn't be an isolated situation. Throughout Lamar's career, there have been multiple moments where Harbaugh gave one timeline for a return from injury, while Lamar communicated something completely different. When that kind of disconnect happens repeatedly, it stops feeling like coincidence and starts sounding like a lack of internal alignment. On a winning team, comments like that fade fast. But when the Ravens are struggling, everything carries more weight. Every silence, every strange decision, every underwhelming performance becomes fuel for these narratives to grow outside the locker room. And once the discussion moves past football and into trust between a head coach and the face of the franchise, the question is no longer just about the present. It naturally leads to a much bigger conversation about the future of everyone involved. John Harbaugh has always been seen as part of the Ravens' identity. It's hard to imagine Baltimore without him, especially given his track record and the stability he's built over the years. But in the NFL, neither resume nor history can fully protect you when a season starts to fall apart. Jocelyn Anderson's report landed right on that sensitive spot when she mentioned that a veteran head coach could be considering a change of scenery. Without naming names, the league connected the dots on its own. Given the Ravens situation, Harbaugh's name immediately entered the conversation. That doesn't mean the team has already decided to move in another direction. What changes is the atmosphere. Once those rumors start circulating, it's a sign that certainty has turned into doubt and that the margin for error is much smaller than it used to be. In the end, everything lines up like a domino effect. An underwhelming record, Lamar struggling, confusing decisions, rumors of internal friction, and now speculation about the head coach. When so many pieces start shaking at once, it's clear the Ravens have reached a point where the next move could change everything. Everything we've seen along the way points to a decisive moment in Baltimore. The disappointing season, Lamar not looking like himself, strange decisions around rest and injuries, outside noise growing louder, and questions about the coaching staff didn't appear randomly. These signs aren't coincidences. They point to something bigger unfolding behind this season. With all of that on the table, every game now carries even more weight. Every move on and off the field will shape the team's immediate future. Do you think the Ravens still have time to turn this around and save the season? Or is it already too late? Not just for this year, but for the internal dynamics of the team as well? Drop your take in the comments. Is there still hope for Baltimore, or has this already gone too far? Because what comes next will decide a lot more than just the outcome of the next few games.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.